Hold on to your capes, because Marvel just made waves with a massive Avengers Doomsday casting announcement. Over 5.5 hours of reveals have fans buzzing, and it looks like we might be heading for an epic face-off between the Avengers and the X-Men. But here's the kicker. Some major characters were left off the list. Who's missing, and what does it mean for this blockbuster film? Stick around as we break down the speculation, the surprises, and what's next for these legendary heroes. What's going on, Superhero Bowl fam? Welcome back to the channel. Today we have some epic news to dive into, because Marvel just dropped Avengers Doomsday casting info that left us all buzzing. Imagine this. Over 5.5 hours of announcements, with 13 minutes between each reveal. It feels like they're hinting at an epic Avengers vs. X-Men showdown. But hold your horses. There are some major characters missing from that lineup, and we've got some speculations to unpack. So grab your snacks and get comfortable. Let's break it down. But before that, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your support means world to us. Alright, let's jump right in. Marvel Studios really made a splash with this initial cast reveal for Avengers Doomsday. Fans couldn't help but connect the dots between the 13-minute intervals and the fact that Civil War was the 13th movie in the MCU. With so many legacy Fox X-Men characters included, rumors started flying that we could be witnessing an epic showdown between the Avengers and X-Men. But here's the kicker. Despite one of the largest announcements in Marvel history, some key players were missing from that reveal. Where's Tom Holland's Spider-Man? What about Benedict Cumberbatch's Doctor Strange and Brie Larson's Captain Marvel? The absence of these major characters sparked immediate speculation. This can't be it, right? Marvel quickly confirmed. Hold up, folks. This is just round one. Let's talk about what was actually said, and what Hollywood sources like Deadline hinted at regarding how massive this film's cast is going to be. First up, where the heck is Tom Holland's Spider-Man? This guy has been the face of the Spider-Man franchise in the MCU, and his absence is just baffling. Could it be that they want to save him for a grand reveal later? Or perhaps they're keeping him under wraps for something big in Secret Wars? Only time will tell, but fans are definitely feeling that gap. And then there's Benedict Cumberbatch's Doctor Strange. After his pivotal role in Multiverse Madness, you'd think he'd be a shoo-in for a massive project like this. His mystical powers could definitely come in handy during an Avengers clash, right? It's hard to believe he wouldn't factor into such a huge event, especially with so much multiverse chaos unfolding in the MCU right now. Next up is Brie Larson's Captain Marvel. She's like the powerhouse of the universe. Her cosmic abilities would be a game-changer in any battle involving the fate of multiple worlds. But alas, she was nowhere to be found in that announcement. Does this mean we're not going to see her square off against the X-Men? Or are there bigger plans in store that we just don't know about yet? And we can't forget about beloved characters like Chris Evans' Captain America and Mark Ruffalo's Hulk. Both have been iconic members of the Avengers team, and fans were holding out hope for their triumphant return. Chris Evans has played Captain America since the beginning of the MCU, and Hulk's strength and intellect are crucial in battles. So many questions remain. What do the filmmakers have in store for these cherished characters? The list doesn't stop there. It's hard to ignore names like Charlie Cox as Daredevil, Tessa Thompson's Valkyrie, and Natalie Portman's Mighty Thor. Each of these characters brings something unique to the table, and yet they were left off the roster. Are the creators picking and choosing who fits best with the storyline? Or are they just keeping some cards close to their chest to maintain an element of surprise for fans? Let's take a moment to talk about the many side characters that add richness to the MCU. Do you think we might see some familiar faces from previous films who could potentially fit into the Doomsday narrative? What about actors like Don Cheadle as War Machine or Elizabeth Olsen's Scarlet Witch? Their journeys have been so intertwined with the Avengers saga, and we can't help but wonder where they stand in relation to this new chapter. And then, there are those characters tied to the Guardians of the Galaxy, and even the Young Avengers or Champions projects. With so many intertwined storylines, it's hard to believe they wouldn't make an appearance somewhere. This whole casting situation feels like a puzzle, and we're just missing a few crucial pieces. Also, let's not forget the potential for cameos from newcomers and legacy characters appearing in What If, and other recent Marvel offerings. It's not just about who we expect to see, but also who could pop up unexpectedly as a thrilling surprise. All this leads us to the question, how on earth is Marvel going to juggle all these beloved characters? By the looks of it, we're heading into a movie with a sprawling cast that could rival any ensemble ever attempted. However, we all know that with great power comes great responsibility, especially when it comes to storytelling. With so many heroes, can they give each one a chance to shine, or will some characters inevitably fade into the background? So, while the initial cast list was jaw-dropping and set the stage for an epic conflict, the notable absences have fans buzzing with questions and theories. Could it be that the movie is intentionally designed to keep us guessing? Perhaps the surprises aren't over yet. Alright, moving on to what we can expect from Avengers Doomsday. With the initial casting announcement causing such a stir, it's clear that Marvel is going big, like Infinity War and Endgame big. But the question on everyone's mind is, how on earth will they manage to weave all these characters into a cohesive storyline? Let's be real. With upwards of 60 to 80 characters potentially involved in this film, it's going to be a monumental task for the writers and directors. The challenge of creating meaningful narratives for so many heroes and villains makes me wonder how they're going to do it without sacrificing character development. Can each hero get enough screen time? Will some of them just be there to deliver an epic line or two, only to vanish into the background during the actual conflict? It's a lot to consider. Now, one of the exciting possibilities this massive cast brings is the potential for diverse storylines. Think about the different arcs we could see. This isn't just going to be about one main villain. With so many characters, there's room for multiple subplots interwoven throughout the film. We might get glimpses into the motivations and histories of lesser-known characters who finally get their moment in the spotlight. Imagine a heartfelt reunion scene between characters who haven't crossed paths yet, or a thrilling confrontation that highlights the tension between the Avengers and X-Men, making the stakes higher than ever. But let's talk about the elephant in the room, the villain. Typically, every Avengers film needs a formidable antagonist to challenge our heroes. With the rumblings of doom and possible incursions from the multiverse, we might see an epic showdown like never before. And if Doctor Doom is the primary villain, that opens the door for all sorts of implications. How will this character interact with heroes from both the Avengers and X-Men? How will his actions impact the multiverse? With so many characters in play, the stakes will be off the charts. Speaking of the multiverse, Marvel has set the stage for chaos and surprises with its continued exploration of alternate realities. With the introduction of other versions of beloved characters in What If, we could potentially see even more fan favorites making unexpected cameos in Doomsday. This could be the film where we see Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man swing back into action, or have alternate versions of characters we thought we knew. Marvel's genius lies in weaving these threads together, and this film seems poised to capitalize on that potential. As we look ahead, we also have to consider how these characters are going to be appropriately introduced in the film. Will we see a big opening scene that showcases all the heroes? Or might they gradually be brought into the narrative, building suspense over who will show up next? The pacing will be crucial to keeping the audience engaged and on the edge of their seats throughout the runtime. Moreover, let's not forget about the emotional weight of this film. Marvel has always excelled at blending action with emotion, and with so many beloved characters involved, we can expect some heartfelt moments. Whether it's a character making a sacrifice or a touching reunion among friends, Doomsday should tug at our heartstrings just as much as it delivers on the action front. And then, there's the pacing and the logistics of juggling such an extensive cast. We might see some characters teaming up in smaller groups to tackle specific challenges, allowing for dynamic interactions that keep things fresh. Picture Thor and Wolverine facing off against a new threat while Doctor Strange coordinates from a distance, each group having their unique battles while the main storyline unfolds. At the end of the day, while we don't have all the answers just yet, the anticipation surrounding Avengers Doomsday is electric. Fans are eager to see how Marvel will pull all these pieces together and create a film that respects its characters while delivering the thrilling spectacle we've come to love. So, as we gear up for this monumental release, keep your eyes peeled for more news, casting updates, and, of course, those inevitable behind-the-scenes teasers that will surely drop before the film hits theaters. It's going to be a wild ride, and we're all here for it. One thing that's also worth mentioning is the conversation around characters like Venom or any of the recent Sony movies. Look, while everything's still up in the air, don't count on seeing any of those characters pop up. Marvel seems focused on recanonizing classic characters and gathering that nostalgia, not spinning tales around the Sony. And that's a wrap on our breakdown of Avengers Doomsday. I want to know your thoughts. Who are you most excited to see? Drop your predictions in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to Superhero Bowl and hit that notification bell for all the latest updates. Your support means the world to us. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.